Hello student, in the last video we have discussed about the array methods and various output based topic. Now we are going to discuss few more programs regarding array. So here is our first program, that web to initialize an array and then display all even element or even numbers also you can say. So let's see how we can do this program. First of all, we have to initialize the array. So I am taking one array where a equal to, within that, 5, 2, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14. So this is my array. So from this array we have to display only the even element. So that will do by the logic of the program. So for this purpose, what we have to do, we have to first take one length of the array. So we know that we can take the length by a dot length method. Then we'll take the loop, for loop we can take for where I equals to 0. We know that always position start with 0, I less than L, I plus plus. Now how we can fetch each element? We can fetch the each element by the ith index. So here we'll write the logic: if a of I percent 2 equal to 0. So if the number is divisible by 2, just like first it will check whether 5 is divisible by 2, then it will be treated as even, but we know 5 is not, so it will not be displayed. Then it will go for 2 is divisible by 2, so it will be displayed, then 7 onwards. So within if block we'll simply write, either we'll display through document.write or we can display using console.log. Document.write, that particular a of I will display. So this is the program. So again let's recall how we'll proceed. So a of I, so first a of I will be 0th position value, that is the 5. So 5 is divisible by 2, it will check, but it is not, so 5 will not be displayed. Then it will go for 2 percent 2, it is 0, that means remainder division, it will be 0, so 2 will be displayed. Then it will go for 7 percent 2, again it is not divisible by 2, so it will be displayed. Then 9, it will not be displayed, 9 will also not be displayed, 11 will not be displayed, and then 12 percent 2 equal to 0, so 12 will be displayed. And then 14 is there, 14 is also divisible by 2, so 14 will be displayed. Now we'll go for the next program. So question is that convert all even element to odd and vice versa, means all odd element to even, means within the array whatever even elements are present, this means for example this 2 we have to convert into odd, and whatever odd element are present we have to convert into even. So let's do the program. So for this case also we'll first take the array. So I am taking a separate array where a equals to, here also randomly I will take few element. So this is my array. Then length will take, a length equals to L equals to array dot length. So through this we'll find the length. Then we'll start the loop for I equal to 0, I less than L, I plus plus, and now we'll check if the number is even. So how we can check? If a of I percent 2 equal to 0, so it is treated as even. So if it is even, so how we can make it odd? Just like if we say 2 is even, so if we either do addition of 1, so it will be converted into 3, so it will become odd. So in cases also minus also you can do. So what we'll write, a of I equals to a of I plus 1, a of I equals to a of I plus 1. Now the next case, if the number is odd, so simply in the same way a of I equals to a of I plus 1. Just like suppose if we have this odd number 5, so if we add 5 plus 1, so it will become 6. It is a even number. So we have seen that we can convert an even number to odd and odd number to even in this method. So this is the second program that we have done. Next very important program we are going to do. So the next question is that we have to check how many prime number present in an array. So already we have seen that what is the logic to find the prime number. Now we'll apply this thing for an array also. So suppose I am storing few numbers 2, 3, 5, 9, 11, 12, 1, 20. So now we have to check how many prime numbers are there. So we can see that here prime numbers are 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. 4 prime numbers are there. So that we have to do by the program. So again we'll simply find the length of the array. Then after finding the length, now we have to run a loop that will fetch each element of the array. So I equal to 0, I less than L, I plus plus. Now we know that each element we can fetch by a of I, and that a of I we have to check whether it is a prime or not. So in that case we have to take few more variable. So where j, one variable is required, and one this is for another loop, and another variable we have to take, that is simply f. Now value of f initially it will be 0. So semicolon is not mandatory, as we know, if we are changing the line, but in this case actually we are declaring two variable, that's why semicolon I have given. Now next loop we have to run. So the loop will run from j equals to 0 and it will run till, or j equals to 1 actually, and it will run till a of I. Suppose the first value of a of I will be 2, the loop will run from 1 to 2. So here we'll check if a of I is divisible by j equal to 0, %j equal to 0. In that case we'll increase the f value, that is counter. This is one of the counter. Then outside the loop, if we check if f equals to 2, if f equals to 2, so this is the checking that whether it is a prime or not. We know that for a prime number there are two factor, there is only two factor. So for that purpose we have to take one more variable here. So we can define here where p equals to 0. So in that case we'll update it by p plus plus. Then this loop will be end, and outside the loop we'll print the number of prime number. Document dot write number of prime number comma p. So in this way it will work. So let's see how it is working once again. First of all, through this loop we are fetching each element from 0 to the length minus 1. Now j loop, another loop we are beginning. Why this is so? Suppose I need to check that whether 2 is a prime number or not. So we know that for any number it has the factor from 1 to that number, 1 to up to that number. So the loop is running from j equals to 1 to j less than equal to I, a of I and j plus plus. So just like for 2, if we see the 2% 1 equal to 0, it right, so f will be 1. Then again 2% 2 equal to 0, this is also right. So then again f value will be 2. So again outside of the loop, if f equals to 2, so prime number counter will be increased. That means number of prime number will be increased, that is p plus plus. So again after 2, again when it will go back here, and there again it will initialize the f value 0 and j will be initialized with 1. Now it will check for 3. So for 3 the loop will run from, second loop will run from, this loop will run from 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 means 3% 1 equal to 0, so it is right. 3% 2 equal to 0, it is also right. And 3% 3, so in that case what will happen, j will be increased. So 3% 1, it is not right, actually it will be 1, so it is not right. And 3% 3, it is also right. So ultimately f will be increased and f will be 2. So when f is equal to 2 again, so again it will be treated as a prime number, so prime number counter will be increased, p plus plus, it will happen p plus plus. So in this way we can simply check that how many prime numbers are present in an array. Till now we have done few types of program. The now we are coming for next program, but it is a quite different type of program. Just like till now we have first at the beginning only we have initialized the array, means we have discussed that or written what are the array element. So now we have to go for another concept of an array. So what is the another concept of array? Suppose during the runtime, if user wants to give the element of the array, during runtime if user wants to give the element of the array, means at the beginning of there will be no array, at the beginning there will be no array. So suppose let me write or let me form one question for this. Just like if we write this example like wap2 input 10 elements or number we can say into an array, then display it. So how this question we can perform, means during the runtime. Till now in the last cases we have seen at the beginning only we have taken the array elements, but suppose if the array element is not known to us, during the loop we have to input the element and after that any operation will perform. So in that case we have to first declare the array, but how we will declare? Where a equals to new array. So in this format the new, this word is coming. So what is the use of this new? New is a kind of special operator, also you can treat as keyword also, which is used to just like allocate memory during the runtime. When we are inserting element into the array in the runtime, that means in the execution time, so as per the element it will allocate the memory. So let's see. So we need to input 10 element, so we'll run a loop for 10 time. So where I equals to 0, but always here we have to remember one point, that loop will start from 0. Why this is so? Because for an array the loop cannot go beyond the means cannot start from 1 or other position, because 0 is the initial position. So I here we want to input 10 elements, so here I am taking I less than 10, because 0 to 9 there are 10 element, I plus plus. Then just like here we have to input the element. So if we take one element a, if our array is a, so we'll take like a of I equals to, here we have to take %, if we are taking as integer %, then window dot prompt enter an element or number, whatever. So this is the fact, means what, in this program the value or element is not known to us. During the runtime we are running the loop and each time we are entering the number, and after that we have to finish the loop, complete the loop, and outside the loop we will simply display the array. Document dot write then a. So what will happen? During the runtime, each time it will ask the user to enter an element, and that will be inserted into a of I location. A of I location means, suppose at the beginning it is empty, but it has the 10 space, and then in each location it will be saved 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. So when loop will run at the beginning, at first a of 0, so suppose we have entered 5, then suppose we have entered 10, then suppose we have entered 9, then suppose we have entered 8. In this way whatever value will enter, so that will be stored to a particular index, okay. So this is the fact how we can enter element during the runtime. Now using this concept also we can will do some more operation. Now we are going to do a very special program. We have to input 10 student roll number and 3 subject marks, find and display their average marks. So if we try to draw one diagrammatic structure, how it look like. So suppose if we have 10 student, and so each student will have one row. So first we have to input the roll number, then 3 subject marks, for example S1, S2 and S3, and then here we have to find AVG, average marks, means first student, second student, third student, fourth student onwards. In this way we have to enter the value, and this row wise we have to find the average. But as we know, roll number is basically we write in our general day we write using 1 2 3 4, but as per programming, as per array programming, we have to initialize as 0 1 2 3 4 in this way up to 9. So let's see how we can manage these tasks using the array concept. So before that we have to first initialize the arrays. What are the important thing? So one array I am taking where r equals to new array, then where s1 or subject 1 equals to new array, and where s2 second subject will take like this array, where third subject s3 will take like new array. So either this way we can take, also I am writing another alternate way in short, just like where r equals to empty box bracket, where s1 equals to empty box bracket, where s2 equals to empty box bracket, where s3 equals to empty box bracket. Either this approach or this approach, but this is the best approach when we are entering the value at the runtime. So now we have to, and also one more array we have to take, since we have to find the average. So where avg equals to new array. So first of all we have to work with the 10 student data. So we'll run a loop for where I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. At the beginning only first roll will be entered, at the beginning only roll will be entered. So how we can assign the roll? So I am taking one variable, I'm just taking one variable a equals to means any roll number. So in that case we have to input %, window dot prompt, just like how we input the value, window dot prompt. Here we'll give the message enter roll, and that roll we have to pass under, or here directly also we can use just like, since we are entering the roll, r of I. First r of I will be the 0th position, then next value will be the s1 of I. Here also in the same way, only here message will be enter subject 1 marks, then s2 also, s2 of I. In the same way we'll input enter second subject s3. So here also we'll enter the third subject. So we have entered all these 3 subject. Here first subject here second subject, and here third subject. So when we have entered all these three subject, after that we have to find the average. We have to find the average marks. So how we can find the average marks? So we'll write avg of I equal to s1 of I plus s2 of I plus s3 of I, this divided by 3, since we are finding the average. So this is basically the calculation, but this is not all. After finding or after entering the values, now we have to display. So how we can display? So for that purpose, again we have to run a for loop, the same for loop, since we have the 10 student only. So I equals to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, and within that just we have to display the things one by one. Document dot write, at first will display r of I, then comma, some space we can provide, then after this we can display average of I. So avg of I. So this is how we can do this kind of program. So this is the complete program. Through that we have done that, entering the value of 10 student data, and we have displayed with the average. So this is the part of the array. This part, up to this part we have done the all the concepts of array. So our next topic now will start about the another object of JavaScript. So till now we have seen that array concept. Just like we have seen, a array is a quite linear structure where we can store multiple element in under the box bracket. So in JavaScript there is also called object concept. So how the object is stored? It is kind of dictionary concept. So how it stored the value? So generally the structure is like this. If we take where d equals to, here all the values are stored in key value pair, key colon value. So this is the basically structure of dictionary, where key is kind of data on which the value is mapped. Now let's see few example. In case of key value pair, just for example, I'm taking one example for this. Store student data in an object. Now student data means here we'll store the name, age, and for example average marks. So I'm taking one object where stu equals to, so first key will be our name, 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 colon, suppose if I store here Rahul for example, this is the first value, first data, then we'll put a comma, means this is the first key value pair. We can say this part is the key and this part is the value. Next is next key value, that is age. So age equals to, suppose I am storing here age colon, will not write equal to here 18, comma, and third value is our address for example. So address colon, here we write Asansol. So this is the data of an object where this part, this name, this age, and this address, these three are actually keys. These three are actually keys, keys, and this Rahul, 18, and Asansol, these three are values. So how the data is fetched in case of this object? In case of this, we'll use the for in loop for x in stu, just like if you write in this way, and within that if we print document dot write is 2 of x. So what will happen in the array concept, all of us can remember, we can remember that we have fetched the element by the index. Just like if we want to fetch this 3, so we could have written a of 2, but here this kind of position system is not there, or index system is not there. Here we have to fetch the element by the key, so that's why we have written 2 of x. Now suppose at the beginning x in is 2, that means first name will be fetched, this 2 of name. That means if we write in the general meaning in this way also, that is 2 of age, if we write, so it will give you the value 18. It will give us the value 18. If we write 2 of address, so it will give us the value Asansol. And if we write 2 of name, so in that case it will give the value Rahul. So all the things will be fetched by the object and key in this concept. Object of key, this concept, object of key in this concept, it is basically fetched. So this is about the object. Now it has just very few one method we have to remember regarding the object. So one method is present. Again I am taking one dictionary, d equals to, suppose if we have key a, it has value 10 comma another value b, key is b, its value is 20. Then again I am repeating the concept that if we write d of a, so it will give us 10, it will give us 10. But if we try to print like this, d of any position 0 or d of 1, so it is actually wrong approach in case of object. So we have to fetch by the object name and here the key, object of that keys. Now the one method that is very important, d dot keys method. So what it will give, it will give us all the keys of that dictionary or object. So keys are here a comma b, it will come like an array. And if we write d dot values, so it will give us all the values just like 10, 20. Now the point is that just like an array, what is the best difference in an array? If we take I'm just taking one array also for explanation. Here suppose we have an array 10, 20, 30, and if we want to change or update this element or this element or this element, any of the element, so we can do that. How? We'll simply write a of 1 equal to a of 1 into 2. Means what? My one position is this one, that means 20, so it will be updated by 20 into 2, that means 40. So what will be the new array? New array will be like this, 10 comma 40 comma 30. But in case of dictionary, when we assign the value here, the main point or main area is that we cannot change or we cannot the keys. These are, you can say, immutable. These are immutable, means or unchangeable. Only we can change on the values. So how we can do that? If we write d of a equal to 50, so what will happen? If my new d will be like this structure, a dot 50 colon 50 comma b colon 20. So this is basically the structure. In this way we can update the element of an object, but here we cannot update the key part. But in case of an array, so these are the basically all the operation regarding the arrays and object.